You've always heard Onam is about Vishnu's avatar, Vamana, defeating the demon king, Mahabali. But here's the shocking truth Mahabali wasn't a demon villain. He was a king, so just and beloved, even the gods feared him. What's even stranger? The festival doesn't celebrate the god alone, but both the conqueror and the conquered at the same time. Nowhere else in mythology do you see a defeated king worshipped alongside the deity who defeated him. Mahabali wasn't just an Asura, he was legendary. Ruling over the three worlds, he created what many describe as a golden age. No lies, no poverty, no inequality. Rich, poor, man, woman, everyone was equal in his kingdom. And that's when the problem began. The more people adored him, the more the gods panicked. Indra, Lord of Heavens, begged Vishnu to stop Mahabali from becoming too perfect. So Vishnu chose a curious avatar, not a warrior, not a king, but a tiny Brahmin dwarf named Vamana. At a ritual, Mahabali asked what he wanted. 3 steps of land, Vamana said. Harmless, right? But when Vamana took his first step, the earth vanished beneath his stride. His second, the heavens themselves. And for the third, there was no more space left. That's when Mahabali, smiling, bowed his head. Here's where the lesser known story gets extraordinary. Mahabali's wife, Vidyavali, and his sons cried out, "Run, fight, escape." Even his guru Shukracharya warned him this was divine trickery. But Mahabali ignored them all. He didn't see a trick. All he saw was divinity, and he gave himself willingly. Imagine this, a so-called demon king who chose faith and humility even at the cost of his own crown. Now here's a fascinating detail you won't usually hear in the popular retelling. After Vamana's third step, yes, Mahabali was sent to the underworld. But his new kingdom, Sutala, wasn't some punishment dungeon. It was described as a paradise, a place so refined that even the gods envied it. And what makes it even more extraordinary is what happened during the months of Chaturmas. Chaturmas is a sacred 4-month period where Vishnu is said to go into cosmic rest. Do you know where he rests? Not in Vaikuntha, not in some hidden heaven, but right in Mahabali's realm, Sutala. Imagine that, the conqueror choosing to rest in the house of the conquered. And while Vishnu withdraws, it is believed that Shiva himself presides over the running of the universe during those months. A cosmic power shift unlike anything else in mythology. So Mahabali was not banished into darkness. He became the host of Vishnu, protector of his divine rest, and the guardian of an entire realm blessed by Sudarshana Chakra. And that's why Onam isn't just about Vamana's victory. It's about Mahabali's return. Every year, the king who once ruled the three worlds is said to visit his people again. That's why Onam is celebrated not only in temples of Vishnu, but also as a cultural festival of equality, prosperity, and joy. Remarkably, the day of Onam also marks Vamana's own birth, a double significance, celebrating both the divine avatar and the king who surrendered to it. And yet, hidden in the scriptures is a prophecy you rarely hear. Mahabali is destined to become the next Indra in a future cosmic cycle. So did Vishnu really defeat him or gently prepare him for something much more greater? This story isn't just a myth. It's a cosmic reminder. Power may fade, but virtues, generosity, humility, equality endure beyond time. So the next time you celebrate Onam, remember, you're not just invoking nostalgia of a golden age. You're honoring a king so righteous that even Lord Vishnu chose his home as a resting place, and Lord Shiva took over the cosmic responsibilities from Lord Vishnu. It's one of the few myths where the so called defeated side was raised to glory. Did this story change how you see Onam? Share this video with your friends and family who thought they knew the whole story. Because sometimes the biggest truths are the ones no one talks about. Subscribe to our channel, Autopsy of Truth, for more such interesting content.